She walked into the lobby like she belonged there, because she did. But within seconds, the room turned cold. A black woman, a luxury tech company, smirks instead of greetings, a laugh that cut deeper than words, and then, without warning, a full cup of soda came crashing down over her head. Sticky, humiliating, public. The laughter that followed was louder than the splash, louder than her racing heartbeat, louder than the truth she was trying to hold on to. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She stood there, soaked and shaking, fighting the familiar fear that if she spoke too loudly, she'd be labeled aggressive, and if she stayed silent, she'd disappear. Every eye in that lobby was watching her fall. They thought she was alone. They thought she didn't belong. But in just a few minutes, the doors would open, and when the man who owned everything in that building finally walked in, 3 words would shatter every lie in that room forever. The glass doors of Northbridge Tech Group slid open with a soft hiss, letting in the crisp Seattle morning air. Naomi Carter stepped inside. She was dressed simply but elegantly, camel-colored wool coat, leather boots, a structured handbag resting calmly on her arm. Nothing flashy, nothing loud, the kind of confidence that didn't ask for permission. And yet, the moment she crossed the marble floor of the glass atrium lobby, something invisible shifted. 3 people behind the reception desk froze, then smirked. "Well, look at this," a man's voice said loudly enough for the echo to bounce off the glass walls. "You lost, sweetheart?" Logan Pierce, mid-30s, white, wearing a Northbridge employee badge like a badge of honor, lifted his oversized soda cup and leaned back in his chair. His eyes dragged over Naomi from head to toe, slow and deliberate. "The service entrance is around the back," he added, "unless you're here to clean something." The 2 receptionists, Megan Holt and Olivia Grant, laughed. Not awkward laughter, not nervous laughter. Real laughter. The kind that said this wasn't new. The kind that said this was entertainment. Naomi felt it before it happened. That familiar tightening in her chest. That instinct every black woman learns early, the moment right before dignity is tested. She opened her mouth to speak. Logan tilted the cup. The soda came down in a cold, sticky wave. It drenched her hair, soaked through her coat, splashed against the pristine white marble floor like an insult you couldn't wipe away. For a split second, the lobby was silent. Then the laughter exploded. "Oh my God!" Megan gasped between giggles. "Best prank this week," Olivia said, already reaching for her phone. Naomi stood still. She didn't scream. She didn't curse. She didn't react the way they were waiting for her to react, because she knew the rules of this space, even if they pretended those rules didn't exist. If she raised her voice, she'd be aggressive. If she cried, she'd be unstable. If she defended herself, she'd be threatening. So she breathed, slow, controlled. "I need to speak to management," she said, her voice steady despite the cola dripping down her neck. Logan wiped fake tears from his eyes. "Management?" He looked around the lobby theatrically. "Ma'am, you don't even belong in this building." More employees were walking in now. Morning shift. People in designer sneakers, earbuds in, coffee cups in hand. They slowed. They stared. Phones came out. Naomi felt every pair of eyes land on her soaked coat, her flattened curls, the way her hands trembled just enough to betray how hard she was holding herself together. "I'm here to meet someone," she said. Megan leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand. "Do you have an appointment?" "Yes." "With who?" Naomi hesitated for half a second, not because she wasn't sure, but because she knew what would happen next. "Ethan Carter," she said. The lobby went quiet. Then Logan bent over, laughing. "Ethan Carter?" he wheezed. "You mean the CEO? The owner of this entire company?" Olivia snorted. "Oh my God, she's serious." Logan straightened, eyes gleaming. "Listen, lady, Ethan Carter doesn't meet with random walk-ins, especially not—" He paused, letting the silence finish the sentence for him. Naomi felt the sting sharper than the soda. "I'm not random," she said. "I'm his wife." The words hung in the air like broken glass. Then the laughter came back louder than before. Megan tapped on her keyboard. "That's funny, because his wife is, well, She glanced up at Naomi with a smile that cut deeper than any insult. "She doesn't look like you." Someone in the crowd muttered, "Call security." Another voice added, "This is going to be all over TikTok." Naomi reached into her bag, fingers brushing against the executive access key fob engraved with Northbridge's logo. She didn't pull it out. Not yet. She pulled out her phone instead, straight to voicemail. "Hey," she said quietly. "I'm in the lobby. Something happened. Call me back." Logan leaned toward Megan. "Who's she calling? Her dealer? Her pimp?" The crowd laughed. One person didn't. Jordan Miles, a black security officer standing near the elevator, watched silently. His jaw tightened. Something about this didn't sit right with him, but he stayed where he was, because silence is safer. "Can I please use the restroom?" Naomi asked. "Just to clean up." Megan shook her head slowly. "Restrooms are for employees and scheduled guests only." "There's a McDonald's 2 blocks away," Olivia added sweetly. That was when Naomi felt it. The crack. Not rage, not despair. Something colder. "You're denying me access to a bathroom," she said louder now, "after your employee assaulted me." Megan's smile vanished. "Ma'am, you're starting to sound aggressive." And just like that, the narrative flipped. Michael Dunn, the floor supervisor, approached with purpose. "What seems to be the problem here?" Logan jumped in immediately. "She's been causing a scene, making false claims, refusing to leave." Michael looked at Naomi, really looked at her, and then looked away. "I'm going to need you to exit the premises," he said. "You're disturbing our staff." Naomi laughed once, a short, broken sound. "Disturbing? Your employee dumped a drink on me." "That's not what I was told." "Of course it wasn't." Michael raised his radio. "Security, escort this woman out." Jordan froze. Naomi's heart pounded. She could leave. She could walk out now and avoid the police, the humiliation, the headlines they were already writing in their heads. But leaving meant accepting something she refused to accept, that she didn't belong, so she stayed. She stood there, soaked, shaking, surrounded by cameras and cruelty, waiting for the truth to walk through the door. And somewhere outside, a black SUV pulled into the executive garage. Naomi lifted her chin. "You might want to step back," she said quietly. No one listened, because what happens next will force every witness to choose a side. Do you believe racism today is louder in insults or quieter in silence? Yes or no? Answer honestly, because the next part will show the cost of that silence. The lobby felt smaller now, not because the walls had moved, but because the air had thickened, heavy with accusation, with eyes, with the quiet agreement that someone like Naomi Carter was not supposed to stand her ground in a place like this. 2 security officers stepped closer. Jordan Miles was one of them. He stood half a step behind Karen Whitfield, his white colleague, who already had her hand near her radio. Karen's posture was rigid, rehearsed. She'd done this before. Escort, remove, forget. Jordan hadn't. "Ma'am," Karen said, voice clipped. "Professional. We're going to need you to come with us." Naomi looked at them both. When her eyes met Jordan's, something flickered there. Recognition, maybe, or doubt, or the shared understanding that this moment would follow them long after today. "I'm not going anywhere," Naomi said quietly. "You're making a mistake." Logan Pierce laughed from behind the desk. "That's what they all say." Phones were everywhere now, held chest high, held overhead, held like weapons. Someone whispered, "This is going viral." Naomi could already imagine the captions. "Crazy woman causes scene at tech company. Karen meltdown caught on camera. Black woman pretends to be CEO's wife." The irony burned. She took a slow breath. "I want to speak to Ethan Carter." Michael Dunn's jaw tightened. "You've already been told. I know exactly who he is." Naomi cut in. Her voice didn't shake this time. "And he's on his way." "Ah, sure he is," Logan said. "And I'm married to Beyonce." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Jordan shifted his weight. "Supervisor," he said carefully, "maybe we should verify before we—" "Verify what?" Michael snapped. "Use your head, Jordan. Don't complicate this." There it was, the unspoken rule. Don't question the story. Don't defend the wrong person. Don't be difficult. Jordan fell silent. Naomi watched it happen. The moment someone with doubts decided silence was cheaper. Karen stepped closer and reached for Naomi's arm. "Don't touch me," Naomi said sharply. Michael seized on it immediately. "She's resisting." Naomi's heart pounded. This was the pivot point, the place where truth collapsed under paperwork and authority. "Call the police," Megan Holt said into the phone. "We have a trespasser." Naomi closed her eyes, not because she was defeated, but because she was tired of proving her humanity to people who had already decided she didn't deserve it. "I just wanted to surprise my husband," she said, voice breaking despite her effort. "That's all." Logan leaned forward. "Lady, fairy tales don't work like that." Then, a voice crackled over Karen's radio. "Security, front gate, executive vehicle just arrived." Time slowed. Jordan's head snapped up. Michael frowned. "That's not possible," Megan said. "Mr. Carter isn't due until 11. The radio crackled again. "Black SUV, reserved garage." Naomi opened her eyes. Hope flickered. Dangerous, fragile, undeniable. "You might want to step back," she said again, louder this time. No one moved. The glass doors swung open. Ethan Carter walked in, eyes still on his phone, suit immaculate, confidence effortless. The kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to command a room. He looked up, took in the crowd, the phones, the security officers. Then he saw her, the soda-soaked coat, the wet hair, the way her shoulders trembled as she fought to stay upright. His face changed. "What the hell is going on?" he asked. Every employee straightened like they'd been struck by lightning. Michael rushed forward. "Mr. Carter, sir, there's been a misunderstanding with a..." Ethan didn't look at him. He walked straight to Naomi. 5 long steps, gentle hands on her shoulders. "Naomi," he said softly, "are you okay?" The lobby went silent, not the expectant silence of gossip, the shocked silence of truth landing. "That's my wife," Ethan said, turning slowly to face them all. Logan's face drained of color. Megan's hands froze above the desk. Phones lowered. Some dropped. Michael opened his mouth, then closed it. Naomi finally let herself breathe. "I came for lunch," she said, voice steady now. "I was assaulted, humiliated. They were about to have me arrested." Ethan's jaw tightened. The muscle jumped. He turned to Michael. "Cancel the police call. Now." Then, without raising his voice, "Get HR, legal, executive team. Conference room, 5 minutes." He faced Logan. "You, name." Logan swallowed. "Logan Pierce, sir. You threw a drink on my wife." It was a joke." "Don't lie," Ethan said calmly. "We have cameras." Megan stepped in desperately. She never identified herself. "She shouldn't have to," Ethan snapped. "She's a human being." The words echoed. Karen stepped back, suddenly unsure. Jordan stood straighter than he had all morning. Ethan scanned the room. "Who recorded this?" No one answered. "Good," he said, "because we're about to watch it together." Minutes later, the Liberty Conference Hall filled with executives, HR, and legal counsel. The footage played. Every word, every laugh, every lie. Naomi watched their faces, not for apologies, but for recognition. Some looked horrified, some looked defensive, some looked ashamed. "This is a hostile environment," Denise Harper, head of People and Ethics, said coldly. "Textbook." "I don't want to sue," Naomi said quietly. Heads turned. "I want this to stop happening." Ethan nodded. "And it will." Logan was fired on the spot. Megan followed. Michael Dunn was suspended pending investigation. But the room felt heavier than punishment. Ethan stood. "This didn't happen because of one bad employee," he said. "It happened because too many people stayed silent." He looked directly at Jordan. "You hesitated," Ethan said. Jordan swallowed. "I should have trusted my instinct." "Yes," Ethan said. "You should have." Silence again, the uncomfortable kind, because everyone knew this wasn't over. It was just beginning. 3 months later, the lobby of Northbridge Tech Group looked exactly the same and completely different. The marble still gleamed. The glass walls still reflected the Seattle skyline. The logo still shone in brushed steel above the reception desk. But the silence had changed. It was no longer the kind of silence that hides cruelty. It was the kind that listens. Naomi Carter stood just inside the entrance, holding a slim folder under her arm. She paused for a moment, not because she was afraid, but because memory has weight. This was the same spot where soda once dripped from her hair onto the floor, where laughter had followed her pain, where truth had almost been buried under authority. A young receptionist looked up and smiled. "Good morning, Miss Carter. Conference room C is ready for you." Naomi smiled back. "Thank you." She walked forward, her steps calm, measured. No one stared, no one whispered, no one reached for their phone. Not because she was now important, but because the system had changed. After that day, the consequences had been immediate and public. Northbridge Tech Group held a company-wide town hall less than 48 hours after the incident. Every employee was required to attend. Cameras on, no excuses. Ethan Carter stood in front of the screen, not as a furious CEO, but as a man forced to confront a truth he hadn't wanted to see. "What happened to my wife," he said, "did not happen because she broke a rule. It happened because too many people believed she didn't belong." He didn't soften the language. He didn't blame miscommunication. He didn't hide behind policy. He showed the footage, not all of it, just enough. Enough to make people uncomfortable, enough to remove denial. Some employees cried, some stared at the floor, some looked angry, not at the injustice, but at being exposed. Denial was loud at first, then quieter, then gone. Logan Pierce's termination had been immediate. His attempt at a public apology came weeks later, not as a plea for forgiveness, but as an admission of ignorance. It didn't erase what he'd done. It didn't have to. Megan Holt and Olivia Grant were dismissed as well. Their behavior cited not as unprofessional, but as discriminatory. Words mattered now. Michael Dunn resigned before the investigation concluded, but Naomi had made one thing very clear. "This is not about revenge," she told HR. "It's about prevention." So Northbridge did what many companies say they will do, and rarely follow through on. They rebuilt. Mandatory anti-bias training wasn't a box to check. It was ongoing, measured, accountable. Employees were tested, not on vocabulary, but on behavior. Failures had consequences. An independent reporting system was installed. Third-party oversight, anonymous access, real follow-ups. And perhaps most importantly, silence was no longer neutral. If you witnessed discrimination and did nothing, that became a performance issue. Jordan Miles was promoted to head of security. He didn't ask for it. He didn't campaign for it. Ethan offered it because Jordan had been honest about his failure. "I hesitated," Jordan had said, and that hesitation almost cost someone their dignity. Now, Jordan trained every new hire in security. His message was simple. When something feels wrong, it usually is. Trust that feeling. Act on it. Emily Park, the employee who had almost spoken up that day, now led the Diversity and Inclusion Council. She didn't pretend she'd been brave. She didn't rewrite her role. "I failed once," she told the team. "I won't fail again." And Naomi didn't retreat from the world. She stepped into it. She became a keynote speaker at leadership conferences, not as the CEO's wife, but as a woman who had experienced what countless others had without cameras. "What happened to me wasn't unique," she told a packed auditorium in London. "It was just recorded. That's the difference." She and Ethan launched a scholarship fund for women of color entering tech. Not symbolic, fully funded. 5 recipients in the first year, 10 the next. She joined Northbridge's advisory board, not to monitor but to guide. And she never forgot the woman she'd been in that lobby, the woman who stood soaked and shaking and refused to leave. On a quiet afternoon, Naomi walked through the lobby again. Same marble, same light, different world. She stopped briefly where it had all begun, not to relive the pain, but to honor the choice she'd made, to stay, to stand, to insist on dignity in a space that had tried to deny it. Somewhere else, in another city, another building, another woman would face the same test. There might be no cameras, no powerful spouse, no immediate justice, but stories travel, and accountability has a way of spreading. Naomi pushed open the conference room door and stepped into her meeting, not because she belonged by association, but because she had claimed her place. Now let me ask you something. honestly, how did this story make you feel? Do you believe real change is possible when people stop staying silent? If this story moved you, comment 111 below to let us know you stayed until the end. And tell us, which country are you watching from? The United States? Europe? Somewhere else? If you believe dignity should never depend on skin color, share this video with someone who needs to see it.